Hello, my name is Marcus and welcome to Tabletop Reviews, where today I'm finally getting around to reviewing Critter Kitchen, this massive box. And just before I get to the review portions, I do want to say that this is a deluxe all-in Kickstarter box. All my components are upgraded. I have the expansion in here and a bunch of extra stuff. So this is not a representation of what you are going to get if you buy it online or something. But this is the box that I have, and the gameplay should be the same. Yeah, I've had this for a while and we played it a couple of times, and it is amazing. And well, that's a spoiler. The reason I waited a little bit with reviewing is because I felt like I needed to have a play count in the middle. So the play count here is 1 to 7. I obviously don't play solo, but me and my wife have played it at 2. Every time I bring it to game meetups, everybody wants to play it because we love it so much. So we play it at 7 or 6 constantly. But recently I finally got a 4-player game in, and now I feel like I have the understanding of the game to do a proper review for you guys. So let's see how it's set up. Starting off with the main player board in just about the center of the table. Then you have your round marker on round 1, of course. And this token, just put it here, it will be used later. At the top of the board you have these places for challenge meals. There are 2 decks, the pink advanced ones or the grey regular ones. Just shuffle them up and place 6 cards face down right along the top. There are, next to the challenge meals, there's this Bordeaux red place for critics. Shuffle up the critic deck and place 1 face up. They do recommend for your first game to use the mouse, but later on you will just use a random one. Next to the mouse are 3 black spaces for rumor cards. Shuffle up the rumor deck and place 3 cards face down. Below the main board is room for the locations. Now 3 locations are always used: the Chef Academy, the Soup Truck and the Midnight Merchant. For the Midnight Merchant and the Chef Academy, make sure that you are using the correct side. There's a 2-player side and a multiplayer side. The Chef Academy is placed all the way over on the right, and of the left side of it, the Midnight Merchant is placed, and the Soup Truck all the way on the left. The remaining locations, you will have to look on the back of them to see that there's a number, and you will of course have to use the number matching your number of players. So in a 4-player game, 1 through 4. They'll then be set up on the right side of the Soup Truck, starting from left, counting up. So right on the right side of the Soup Truck, 1, 2, 3, 4, counting up. At the Soup Truck, you should place all of the soup tokens. These are counted as unlimited and are therefore all available all the time. There is also a pile of bisque tokens, or better soup. 1 of those are available every round at the Soup Truck. A sous chef will be available every round at the Chef Academy, except for the final one. Then there will be a allspice token. But the sous chef cards are shuffled up. The top one is drawn, and then the matching figurine or tile matching that sous chef is found and placed there. Now there are 2 things left to deal with: the stars signifying points. They'll just be placed to the side somewhere next to the main board. And then we have the token bag filled with ingredient and spice tokens. Again, have all the ingredients and spice in the bag and place it next to the main board. Each player will need the kitchen board of their color, their player screen showing their restaurant, and some information for them to use throughout the game, and a box containing all of the things that they're going to need to play the game. They have their final meal serving plate, which shows all of the different ingredients you can take. This will also be used as storage throughout the game. The cards showcasing all of the locations that are available. Of course, remove the cards for the locations that aren't available, depending on player count. 3 plates to serve challenge meals on. A chef hats token, which will be used to determine priority throughout the game. More on that in a bit. And then 3 tokens of varying sizes, which are going to be chefs that they can use to collect up ingredients on the different locations. And now here I'm just showing you in the video clip my proposal on how to organize the things with the final meal serving plate and the challenge meals plates and your kitchen board. Just what I think you should, I think you should do it, but it's just a recommendation, of course. And just to finish off the setup, you will take the chef sets that determine priority and then randomly put them here on the priority track. And that is the setup for the base game. I've not talked about the setup for the expansion just yet, which It doesn't add too much, luckily, but it's going to add a little bit more things that need to be room for. This is just set up for 4 players, and it's kind of crazy. So let me discuss it a little bit. Let me try and find some words for it. There is so many parts to this, right? Like you have up here just 3 different piles of cards that need to be shuffled and distributed out, and you have the sous chefs. There's another pile of cards that need to be shuffled up and distributed out. I mean, each person, these things for each person makes it so much easier just to give it to the person, and when they know to set up their game, here, do your thing. So that's luckily like contained, but even each person has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 moving parts and a pile of cards, 11 moving parts and a small pile of cards, and you know, the main center in here, depending on the amount of players you are, is going to also have like 10 plus moving parts. So many parts, and without the insert here to just make it a little bit easier, and I'm saying a little bit because there's things about the insert thing that I'm not too happy about. Like, I don't like how this is hidden almost at the bottom. I didn't show you that, but it basically starts with the sous chefs and the expansion thing at the right top, and then you go into the cards, go into these individual players, go into this, then at the very bottom, that's where you find this and with the soups, and of course these here are just at the top. Sorry about that, it's the disturbance. So there's a lot of moving parts and many things that need to be filled out. It does help with the organization of this insert thing for the luxury edition, but even then it is so much, and I don't know, it is a kind of a downer every time that we bring it out. We've played it quite a lot, and every time my least favorite thing is bringing it out and packing it down, and that's not how I feel about every game. Like for a shuffle, for example, I'm completely neutral on the setup of that game, that whatever. This just is, it's so chaotic, it's a lot of moving parts, and as you see, it takes up a crazy amount of space. Like, I don't know if the deluxe edition is much larger than the regular edition. Maybe it is a tiny bit larger in some aspects, but I don't think it's very much larger. So you need a large table, and this small table, if we were 4 players, we could make it work, I think. But the issue is these are sort of supposed to shadow over things down here that they're supposed to be secret. But if I'm sitting here playing, like, how am I supposed to hide from that person over there? By putting it in like a little square like this. Can they not see what I'm doing? But then I don't have room to put stuff. So, and I'm even facing over some stuff down there. So yeah, I mean, but the secret aspect as well, I don't really understand what that is for. Why do I need to hide what I have here? It doesn't matter, whatever. So yeah, the setup, there's a lot, it's kind of chaotic, and it's something that every time we play it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So many things, takes up so much space. I'm not even done. Let me just real quick set up the expansion for you. It's luckily quite quick.
This is the expansion tray, where there is this pile of cards. Those will be shuffled up, and each of the locations that have this half moon indent will get a card for themselves. Each card contains information regarding a specific card also found in the expansion tray, and each location will get this little expansion card beneath it. Each card also needs their very own tokens. These can be found, of course, in the tray. Now each card is played differently, and that is described by the card exactly what they do.
And that's what the expansion is. Just those spaces which have different things every time. There's one thing I wanted to quickly talk about, which is the 7 or 6 player module that the expansion also adds. Because that one does entail a little bit of difference if you're playing that many people. So first of all, you are going to play with the Sous 2 tile, which will be put over at Garden Top Shops. And what this does is provide an extra space for sous chefs. This is only if you're 7 or 6 players that you have to do this. And also provides these 6 spotted sous chef food items that will also be placed down here. There's a pile of each, of course, that will be changed out every single round. And if you're playing 7 or 6, you also have to play the break time card, which means one of your people are going to be on break every single time. By a roll of the dice, they choose one of them, and if you put that one on break, you do get soup to its value. So if it's the 3 die you put that on break, you get 3 soups. But every time you're going to have somebody on break. And that's basically what the expansion adds. And one thing that I'm just gonna mention here, I mean this is already taking forever. I'm just gonna mention it here, and then I'll be done with setup. But it's these cards here, which is a restaurateur, or basically just like, who are you? What is your role? So it adds in people. Well, not people, but adds in these cards, which has some kind of an ability. You get 2 of them, choose one of them to keep, and this is just an example of a ability. Throughout the game, you may use 3 value ingredients as if they were any type of your choice. So basically, the 3 type ingredients becomes wild, can be used however, and you do that throughout the entire game, and that's just an example. Most of the abilities are sort of, for the challenge meals only, which is these up here. But some of them are throughout the game, and that's just another little thing to add. That's the expansion, that's this one, that's all of the setup. Now let's get to the gameplay.
To start the round, you first take the token bag and then reveal tokens for each of the locations as per the spots on them. So this is these little half moons that are in there. The exceptions to this is the soup truck doesn't get any, Midnight Market doesn't get any yet, and the Chef Academy doesn't get any. Then you reveal the leftmost unrevealed challenge meal. For the first round, this is of course the first one, and then the second round is the second one, and so on. Once that is done, you are ready to choose locations. You do that by secretly assigning location cards to each of your chefs in the academy, bearing in mind of course their carrying capacity and what others might want to take. Once all players have chosen their locations for their chefs and a potential sous chef they have gotten throughout the game, you will now simultaneously reveal. We like to do it in my player in order, so you take the small chef first, then the second and the third. But it doesn't really matter, you all reveal at the same time and place them out before getting ready to resolve each location in order. You start from the leftmost location, which is the soup truck, not pictured apparently, I'm a little bit silly. But then you check first the smallest ones, the one with 1 carrying capacity, then the one with 2 carrying capacity, and then the ones with 3 carrying capacity. The first example shows ones standing alone, they simply just get to pick their carry capacity. Now I will show you when you are standing there with more than 1. So here we have red and purple, but purple is furthest ahead on the priority track. So the purple chef set is moved to the back of the queue, and purple get to choose first. Then we have blue and yellow with 3 carrying capacity. Now because there's already been picked from this location, the chef sets do not move place, so whoever was first there has get to choose first. Now in this example there's only 1 item left, and neither of them really want to have it, so both of them opt to just take a soup rather than taking the item from the place. It's just 1 soup, although it is the ones with 3 carrying capacity. Now just skipping over a couple of locations to get to Midnight Merchant, which was not filled out with ingredients at the start. That is because it is only filled out now, after the previous location has been resolved and the players have already placed chefs there. And sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. You then resolve the location as normal with chef house and priority track and all of that. Another thing that is available other than just regular ingredients and spice ingredients are these rumor tokens. Now each of them have a symbol, either 3 dots, an exclamation point, a question mark, or a star. The star is a joker, you can choose whatever you want, but each of them give you access to one of the face down rumor cards, which has some kind of scoring effect at the end. So now you know something that others do not. The final location you have is the Chef Academy, where you will find a sous chef to be used for the next round and only the next round. Besides that, you take all the ingredients from the previous locations, except the soup truck, and move here. Now I'm making a mistake and also bringing in rumor tokens. You do not, only ingredients and spice. At the end of the round, all these ingredients are then moved to the soup truck. Again, not the rumors, I'm making a mistake. When the round is over, there are just a couple of cleanup steps. First, you take, of course, all the ingredients from the Chef's Academy, as I said. not the rumors again. I am making a mistake in my setup here by taking the rumors around. Not correct. Then of course you bring all of these chefs back to their respective owners. If there was a sous chef in place, it is removed from game entirely as a new one is revealed for the next round. Then you take the round tracker, moves up a space, and you of course can go on and reveal the next challenge meals. If it is the 3rd or 6th round, when you reveal the challenge meal, you will put that little extra token on the rightmost ingredient. The last challenge meal only has 2 ingredients to be used.
Alright, let me quickly talk about these, because I don't think there's any easy way to say it. So, at the challenge meals here, you will serve these up, and you're going to need, need a minimum of 3 ingredients for these 2, and a minimum of 2 ingredients. For these ones, you can always add soup just to pile it up, because you're going to score points. But that is going to be based off of, there is a square in the middle of that one. I'm hoping that doesn't, I think it's just a camera, whatever. Let's go based on this one. If you have a combined, so you can see there's numbers on each of the ingredients. If you have a combined of 6 and up, you'll get 1 point. 12 and up, you'll get 2 points. And 21 and up, importantly, it's not 3 points, but 4 points. I counted 3 the first couple of times, but then we figured out it wasn't. 4 points for it, which you'll of course just grab in the form of these stars here. So a really good round will provide you with 12 points, but a more realistic round will provide you around 8 or 9 points. That's probably where we are usually. And at the end of the first one, you will keep a maximum of 5 ingredients in your pantry. Soup and spice do not count. But what is spice? Hold on. Spice, what did that do? Well, it doubles the value of whatever ingredient it is. So this is a carrot spice. So if you have a carrot, it will double the value of that carrot, and there is no carrot out. Can I just quickly get a carrot from him? God damn it. Give me a carrot. That's it. That's a cheese spice. Great. That's perfect. I have cheese over here. So just to give an example, I have added this 7 cheese, and now I add some spice to it. Now it is a 14 cheese. Yeah, so that's an example of spice. You score it and you move on. After the next 3 rounds, after you've served those challenge meals up, you can keep 10 items for one last round, where instead of sous chefs, by the way, it will be these all-spice tokens. They look like this, and it's no matter if you have the expansion or not, this will be added instead of sous chefs. Just come on. You can grab this, and it is an allspice. It contains to everything. It can double the value of anything. It's an all-around spice thing. And then you serve up the final meal. What is the final meal? Well, it is this plate right here, where you serve 1 of each ingredient, including 1 spice. By the way, spice can only be one ingredient can only hold 1 spice. So even though I might have had 2 cheese spice for that 7, it will only become a 14. I can only add 1 spice. But we'll serve 1 of each ingredient, 1 bread, 1 carrot, 1, or you will try at least. Of course, taking into account any kind of critic specifics, like the mouse, which allows you to add as much cheese as you want. And then you will look down here. So whoever has the most soup at the end of the 7 rounds gets a point. If you served 1 of each, you get an extra point. And then you score the best of each. Oh, you can see it there. Which means whoever has the highest value in bread, including spice, gets a point. Most in carrot, including spice, gets a point. All the way through all the 7 courses. Then you score the rumor tokens. You reveal them basically one by one here. And look at it to score. 1 for each unserved wine, not spice. So if you have an extra wine, you're whatever. So you score each of them. Now, some of them, like all 3 of these, will be straight up point. Some of them will be like doubling your meat value or something. Then there's a bonus score, and bonus score is, well, I mean, anything from the expansion or the module of their restaurateurs, anything like that scores some extra point. And then you take your final total, and your final total will be, whoopsie, if we look just back here. By the way, it will clarify on these rumors whether or not it includes spice. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. And on this final score, you will count up the combined total of all of your things down here, including the spice. And whatever total it gives, let's say I had scored 61, well, then you would get the point next to it, which would be 9 points. If you manage to get above 70, you take a 10, just take a 10 and then keep on counting and then add whatever. So, you know, if I were at 21 and I had rounded to 70, I would be at 13 points. Like that. And then whoever has the most amount of points wins. That's, yeah. The point scoring was just gonna be like that, yeah. I don't think I got it mentioned, but all of the expansions, they all add an item that you can pick just like any other item, usually. But the rule, again, it's rule depending on the rules. So. Alright, I think it got a little bit chaotic there at the end with rules explanation and everything, but that's just because the pouring scoring doesn't work for that overly edited style that I use for these larger reviews. So you get me talking there. But yeah, let's just talk about the gameplay. I skip setup, of course, in this instance. But let's talk about the gameplay. So first of all, let me just say I really love this game. I do. I will go through the setup every time because I love this game so much. Boy, I'm working up a sweat. So the general gameplay in each round, where some food is set up on each of these destinations, and you send out your people to gather up the ingredients. I like that. It sort of shows this world of a restaurant that's trying to have nutritious, fresh ingredients, that's the word, every time. And 3 rounds is supposed to be like 1 day here, except for the last one, which is where the critic comes up. I like to imagine that it is, you know, the busy weekend here at the harbor or something. I can't remember what they call it. The Bistro Harbor or something. Bistro Bay, that's what they call it. You know, it's a busy week because the critic is coming, so everybody wants to visit the restaurant, so every restaurant is busy. And therefore they have, you know, these special courses that are being served until right at the end when the critic shows up. That's what I like to imagine, you know. So the first couple rounds, this is up for the Friday, and then this is the Saturday, and then this is the final day, Sunday, when the critic shows up. That's how I like to imagine it anyways. I don't think that's necessarily straight up how it works, but, you know, but the theme is so amazing. This thing of running the restaurant, and I'm going into theme as well, but you can't really talk about that without the theme, because as I said, this going out and picking up fresh ingredients, that works really well with this theme of a restaurant that is trying to serve these great meals. It of course loses something in it, considering all these different ones, like this boat that is here, like you would probably serve maritime things, and this green, or this blue garden thing, this is, what is this called, the blue beard and stuff, probably would be more of a cafe style, and you have this alchemy which looks more like a bar, and you know, so these very different restaurants probably wouldn't serve the same. That's why you lose the theme a little bit, but other than that, I absolutely love it. Of course it's the same here, and the fact that you don't know what you're serving until right at the very end, those are gameplay things, and sometimes you have to forgive some unthematic stuff to realize that, okay, it is, you know, gameplay related. I also love this thing of going to the different places, being slow and then getting away with something or nothing. And yeah, these different markets, they make sense. The water market, the air docks, there's even there. Of course, you know, again, you must forgive the gameplay mechanic of drawing randomly, because the water market would obviously have the fish stuff. The desert vendor is clearly getting ready with some of the vegetables, the air docks, I don't know, exotic stuff. But again, you will forgive the gameplay having to be good and therefore executing a little bit poorly on the theme. Yeah, I love the soup truck as well, adding that one in, having that soup. And again, does it make sense? No. I mean, we had a joke running where in my restaurant, if you order the house red, you don't know if it's going to be a nice Merlot or a tomato soup that you get. Because I would constantly serve soup instead of wine, because I just couldn't get all the wine. And again, the soup is there just to make sure that just because you can't get a specific ingredient, you're not screwed. Alright? So forgive it not being thematic for the gameplay being good. And I do forgive it, because I really like the gameplay. This thing I'm trying to choose, because I mean, oh, that's 7 carrot. That's a great pull, because we need carrots twice. So that's great. But everybody's gonna go for it, so would it not be better to go for that 3 carrot and pairing it with my 4 carrot? Or even if I had that ability that I read up, where I can use 3 as anything. You know, okay, there's 2 3s over there, and I can put them where I want. I don't have to worry about the fact that they're both wines and I already have plenty of wine, because I can just use those 3s as cheese and fish, which I need. I don't even know. Yeah, cheese and fish. I'm even saying something that makes sense. You know, these things work really great, and I think the problem that we all have when we play this game is, oh, that cheese is really good. Everybody goes for the cheese. And that's where this order system up here comes really nicely into play, because that's constantly a thought, right? Like at some point, as I think it was in the Desert Vendor, there was something that I needed. I absolutely needed that. I could not go without it. I was lucky enough to be ahead in the order track, because obviously I played red, duh. So I just put my number 1 guy here, and everybody else was put further down the track. I ignored Soup Truck and Guy on top. I even think it was actually Water Market. So I ignored the 3 other ones, because I needed what was here. And I knew that if I put my small guy, because he goes first, and I was first in order, I'm guaranteed to get that. So I went all out for that. That's something you can pull, right? Or if you are just at the back, maybe you should just think, okay, hey, I should, you know, not hope for something up here, but maybe I could be lucky. Down here, I've moved up in the track. We do modify it a little bit. I think the rule says only for the first one in the vendor or something. We do it for all of them, right? You are constantly changing position, and I think that works way better. It's a little bit of a house rule thing for the game, because I think it works really way better that you do it only as well for the 1 and the 3 moving around, because you're moving up and down in the order. So yeah. And then we have these rumor tokens over here. I think again, it's a nice addition. This thing of the way they presented the Kickstarter was, you know, this is something the critic likes, but some of them are a little bit again weird on that one. I mean, some of them make sense, like have the items be the same value. It's annoying to eat a really nice piece of bread to then pair it with a terrible wine. So it makes sense you score extra if all your things are sort of the same line. So sure, maybe it's all just 4s and some of them have 6s and stuff, but yours is consistent. You don't have 2 somewhere. Right? I love, by the way, how they describe a 2 in the rulebook, where it's like, well, a 2 value ingredient, it's technically food. Just half rotten fish. Anyways, so yeah, not knowing the rumors can be a detriment where you don't score as much, but also it was a fun thing that my wife and another player laughed at, because they knew a rumor that I didn't know, and when they saw me preparing and showing off my dish, they started laughing a little bit, because you don't know that rumor, but you've done it perfectly, and I was outright the best on that rumor. So it can be a great strength to know the rumors, but it is not necessary, and I like that, because again, it can be completely random what rumors show up. I don't think it's going to happen, but what if a question mark just doesn't show up at any point during the game? Then nobody knows that one. Well, or if, you know, only a couple of exclamation marks show up, so therefore, you know, just 2 of them know that one. Well, the rest of us, we aren't screwed over. We can work around that and still score a lot of points. Having that prize pool for an extra point for having the most soup seems a little bit, I don't know, it seems unnecessary. It just seems to not matter. It's weird, but it gives an incentive to move to the soup truck at the end just to score that extra point. Maybe, I don't know, because you can't use soup in your final meal, so... And the critics also work perfectly. We've gone through quite a few different critics over these gameplays, and all of them just, I really enjoy them. They do something different, they mix up the gameplay, they change what you're going to do. Some of them both for the challenge meals and the final meal, for usually just for the final meal where you're just sitting there waiting, manipulating with it, right? Like this one with cheese. Where you can just add a whole bunch of cheese and score some extra points for that one. Like, that's fun. You just had a crazy amount of cheese throughout the game all of a sudden, and yeah, changes up your decisions and how the game evolves throughout. So yeah, just talking about the game. I mean, I really love this game. This secret choosing and then revealing, and like sometimes the yes or the fuck. Because obviously it's not nice going to a location just getting away with 1 soup. To talk about the expansion now. The cards down here, I think all of them add something interesting. Some of them better than others, definitely. I mean, the gelato ice cream, which was shown at the setup there, we've played with it and it was kind of boring. Because it's something that you have to worry about having space for it, and it only gives you something at the very end. So yeah, just two guys ended up going to it to just try and score something. I mean, I went there when the 7 showed up because I know that's the highest ingredient. I'm just gonna grab that one and have guaranteed 2 points from it, right? But most of them add like the sauces and the tofu that you also saw. We played with those, and I think those are just a great addition to it. Better ways to score, and it works really perfectly. And we've tried a few of the other ones which aren't like directly food related, but you get something different to score points from, and I think they all work really, really well. The 6 and 7 expansion rules, where you have to go on break. It's annoying to always have to put someone on break, but it also, I understand why. We've tried playing at 6 players without the break time, and none of us got anything. We scored so lowly because constantly you're just filling up the board way too much. So it's there to balance it off, which is fine. The Sous 2 card that shows up there is a great little addition to make sure that more people try and get the sous chefs. But I do find that it ends up being the same people going for the sous chefs constantly and having to play through a lot of different sous chefs over the course of the game. The Restaurateur little module is a fine module, but I think there's a little bit of balancing issue because some of them definitely seem to be way better than others, depending on player count, right? I had one in a 2-player game where in a 2-player game it's fine. If I had that one in like a 5-player game or 6-player game, I would have had a massive advantage. And I just don't think the point giving thing balanced it out completely. Like the Swedish Hef, which a person played with, had him just shuffle up his cards and draw a couple of 3 random ones, or random ones depending on how many he had, and then just that's what he was going to play. That's kind of what I've done here, just adding out random cards for the setup here. And it had him at such a disadvantage. He did get 2 extra points per player, which ended up giving him a nice handful of points, but he was just, it wasn't working out for him. He had trouble, and yeah, I mean, that doesn't seem balanced. Even though you get all those points, he still lost, and it was only by a point, and it was only by a point because he got all those extra points. And sure, maybe if we had been more players, he wouldn't have lost, but does it feel satisfying? Not really. Like, you're on a back foot constantly. So, not super balanced, those are not. The sous chefs are, however. I like all the sous chefs. They add a nice little power, but not something that's good, but not like super powerful where you just screw over everyone. It's like, I have earned a little bit extra power for this one round, and I'm going to use it, right? This one round, so perfect for that one. Really great. Yeah. The theme, I've already sort of talked about the theme, saying how it works so well, this gathering the fresh ingredients, and it's funny with the Midnight Merchant, which is sort of like a black market thing. It's a weird thing, isn't it? Like at the very dusk, you meet up with the chefs from other restaurants and like, oh, you're here as well. I thought this wine delivery was just for me. But it is a nice addition thing of like, okay, some of the things that are showing up, not all the things. What's going to show up with this late night merchant, the midnight merchant? But still, it's a little bit. The Sous Chef Academy, whilst the sous chef do work, I think it's kind of weird that you constantly have a sous chef coming out of the Sous Chef Academy. But let's, again, sometimes gameplay needs to be good, and then it must be hurting the theme a little bit. That's just how it goes sometimes. But the theme, I do really love it. This thing of running a restaurant. It makes it seem fun. I've heard it's not in real life, so I'm not going to be trying, but it is it's just a great thing. Just a great theme, and really worked through, and the Sendero Tang artwork. So beautiful. Let's talk about components. So, I don't think I can realistically talk about components because I have all the upgrade components. These are not cardboard. These are hard as frick. These are as well, and the sous chefs as well. I'm pretty sure these are going to be cardboard in a regular edition, but I have these plastic ones. I would just say that the deluxe edition is maybe a little tiny bit overproduced. It has things like this is an entire pepper thing that's tracking the rounds. It's a little bit overproduced in some aspects, but again, I can't really talk about components because this is the deluxe version, and while this is overproduced, it's also amazing. These are screen printed meeple things that are moving around. Having these in hand, hold on, let me get a few more. Listen to that, it sounds amazing. The trays here, as I said, for the players are great, especially for setup. So the deluxe edition is really amazing in its components. It's a little bit overproduced, most definitely, but it doesn't change the fact that it is absolutely an amazing production. An overproduction can still be an amazing production. So let's run over that and let's go to Does It Lie to You? So it says around 60 minutes. I'm trying to remember, I read it beforehand. So it says 1 to 7 players, about 60 minutes plus, I think, and 12 and up. Yes. So 1 to 7, let's talk about that one. So first of all, I don't play solo, of course, but so 2 to 7, does it work? Yes. So I said at the start that I wanted to try it in the middle at the 4, because it's me and my wife, or it's a 6 player almost maximum player count. I wanted to try it in the middle, which we did with a 4-player game. And I think right there in the middle, 4, maybe 5, is really where the game comes alive. This is where you have all the stalls out basically, but you're not going to fill them out like insanely. Like at 6 to 7 players, you have to remember it adds 2 or 4 extra meeples that are going out. You can't really predict anything, so it gets really difficult to collect things. But at 4 or 5, that's where it really comes alive. There's enough room for everybody in terms of the areas. Everybody's going to be capable of collecting it, and it doesn't feel all too long or too short. Like it sits in. Now the 60 minutes plus thing. At 6 or 7 we play for almost 3 hours, and I think at 4 we play for about 2.5. So not an hour, I don't think. At 2, maybe we played 60 minutes at 2 players, but man, this is really player count dependable in terms of the player length, and it adds exponentially. It's almost like it's basically adding half an hour per player, basically. So yeah, be aware of that. It does not take an hour. But yeah, does it like 12 and up? I don't know. It's kind of difficult because you have to think about a lot of things, visiting a lot of areas, and survive through some troubles. So yeah, don't be too young with the people you play with, because there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things to think about. Like, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't play with 12-year-olds. I play with 30-year-olds. So they do behave like 5-year-olds, but they are 30. So yeah, what is the score that I'm going to give this game? That's the difficult one. Let's start off with the expansion and say that expansion adds just a perfect amount of things. The player count is debatable if that's a perfect thing, but the cards that you add, just 3 spaces. I would love for it to be 4 spaces, you know, for this one as well, and the air docks, but 3 spaces is also okay. But those cards are just a great addition to the game. I'm going to give the a la carte expansion a 10 out of 10. The Restorative 2 module, I know it's not technically a thing, but I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 because it feels a little bit unbalanced, not fully tested. But the game itself here, man, I love the theme, and I think it's worked out as perfectly as you could, with also making it a good, entertaining, balanced game. And the gameplay, I think, is really great. This sort of secretive, secret choice thing, I don't know what to call it, before going in and public and then having to move through all of these ones. It's such a great bit of gameplay, and the theme is amazing on top of that. I have a hard time not saying 10. I really do. Like, in some plays I'm thinking maybe it's just a 9, but I just can't think of why I shouldn't say 10. So I'm going to give it Critter Kitchen a 10 out of 10. I really love this game. I will say at 2 it was still fun, at 7 or 6 it's still fun, but it comes alive and becomes absolutely amazing at 4 or 5. So yeah, this one is staying in my collection most definitely for a very long time, and then when it maybe gets time, I know I can sell it straight to one of my friends because she's already talking about wanting it herself. An amazing game, a lovely game. It's just, I can't compliment it enough. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!